Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Purpose and Profit Sisterhood podcast. I am your bodacious hostess, Jeanette Anderson, and today I'm here with fabulous Nikki. Oh, I forgot to ask where you were right now, Nikki. Where are you located?
I am in New Jersey.
New Jersey. Okay. And tell me how to say your last name correctly, because I forgot.
Gangemi.
Gangemi. Okay, I wasn't sure if it was with a hard C or a G or a soft G. So welcome. I'm glad you're here because we're going to be talking about how to grow your business with your very own calm method. So we're going to find out about that, everybody. Before we leap in, as always, I'll give you the official intro, but then we're going to find out the juicy behind the scenes tidbits and what exactly Nikki is all about. All right, so Nikki has been or is excited to introduce. I'm excited. Let me start over. Hi, everybody. How are you? Welcome to the podcast. Don't bother editing that out, team. Let them know that we screw up all the time around here. All right, so I'm excited to introduce you to Nikki Gangemi, a master success coach and hypnotherapist. She's known as the personal trainer for your mind, and her journey is an inspiring one. Nikki has made three significant pivots in her life, from actress to teacher to entrepreneur. The firsthand experience equips her with a unique perspective on navigating major life transitions. Today, Nikki is dedicated to helping spiritual entrepreneurs, perfectionists, and people pleasers master the communication skills necessary to achieve virtually any result they desire, all without the need for years of self-improvement work. Oh my goodness, where were you 25, 30, 40? Well, okay, 45 years ago. Her approach combines mind, body, and spirit and is backed by neuroscience, creating a powerful three-pronged transformation strategy. So awesome. I love that. And welcome. Congrats on supporting people in fast tracking that whole personal growth journey, because having been on it for 40 years, I know that it's can be challenging at times. So it's good to get that expedited if we can. So Nikki, tell me a little bit about you that we wouldn't guess from looking at your website. So, and I said the juicier the tidbit, the better, and the more bonus points you get. So tell us something about you that we wouldn't guess.
Oh, where do I want to go with this? The juicier, the better.
Yeah.
And I've got to pay attention to who's listening to this. So I'll go with a PG version, and I'll say that I love karaoke.
Oh, okay.
So give me a mic, and I'm happy to get up there and sing. And my go-to is Summer Nights. Love to do a duet.
Ah, that's hilarious. I love that. Okay, well, you know what? I tell you, I hate karaoke. You give me a microphone and put me in front of 500 or 1,000 people, and I am so happy to talk to them. You will have to pry the mic out of my hand, but make me sing to one person, and I become a basket case. And it's interesting because I don't know where I got the belief that I don't have a good voice, because I've been told that I do, but I don't believe them. So I still have all sorts of stuff around that. So that's very cool. Do you do it as a hobby, or do you just do it once in a
Hobby.
while for fun? Yeah.
Yeah, for fun. Yeah, when I have the time, and
So you're
singing,
not in the
dancing.
competition circuit or anything like that?
No,
You're not working your way towards the voice or anything?
not yet, but I will let you know when I do.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So how did you come to this work? Tell us a little bit about your why. Why do you do the work that you do?
Well, you kind of set me up for that when you said that about the not believing that you're a good singer, and that was something that you were told. And that really is why I'm so lit up about what I do today, because there were lots of things that were said from grade school through high school that I believed for a very long time. And I let myself shrink, and I minimized myself and just kind of lived in a very small world because that's what I thought was possible for me.
Mhm.
And it wasn't until waking up near the age of 40 that I was like, what's going on here? What if everything I believed was a lie
Mhm.
and wasn't true?
Mhm.
So, having spent many years, 15 years on and off in therapy, I learned how to shorten that process through the training that I've had with NLP and hypnotherapy and just the subconscious change work. So we don't have to spend decades undoing the hypnosis we've been in. We can change from the inside out pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's awesome. And there's a lot of those technologies that have come quite a long ways in terms of understanding the brain and how it works and neuroscience and all of those components so that it's not just that kind of feel good thing. There's actually lots of brain science behind transformation as well. So what caused you to really start? What was the pivotal turning point that had you say, okay, that's it, I'm going to leave? What was the thing? Were you a teacher before you became this a
Yes,
coach?
I
So
was
what
a
did you leave
teacher.
teaching?
Well, it was never something that I wanted to do to begin with. I wanted to act. That was always my dream from the time I was a little girl. And after a 5-year relationship ended when I was 23, I didn't know what to do with myself. So I made the decision it's time to move across the country and go pursue my dream.
Hmm.
However, I gave myself 1 year to make it. And I looked for all the evidence for why it wasn't possible, why I wasn't good enough, why there were so many other better people. And I found myself on a plane back home to New Jersey, regretting it. And then everybody, family and friends and well meaning people said, well, you could be a teacher. It's a great, rewarding career. And I said no until one day I said yes. My best friend said, why don't we be teachers together? And I was like, fine, like, okay, we take the state exam. I pass, she fails. I become a teacher, she doesn't. You know how the time just flies by and you just do the same thing every day and go through the motions? And that's what happened. And I woke up and 15 years went by. And it's like, oh my God, where did my life go? And I'm still not happy.
Yeah, yeah, that's not uncommon. And 15 years, I wake up and 15 years have gone by. That's so true. So was there something, was it a gradual thing, or was there something that kind of said, okay, that's it. I've had enough of this, I'm out.
It was gradual. What changed though was a I was complaining one day. I ran into a coworker in the parking lot of a coffee shop, and he said to me, "Why don't you just bloom where you're planted?" And
Mm,
I didn't know what that meant, but I knew it was important, so I put it on the back burner. And then
mhm,
I met this guy on Plenty of Fish, and I thought he was the one.
mhm,
And turned out he wasn't the one, but he was a reason and a season. And he told me, if there's something you want to do, if you want to speak, speak in your living room. You don't wait for opportunities to come to you, you pave the way. And suddenly, bloom where you're planted bubbled up to the surface. And
mhm,
I thought, mindful matters. I'm
mm,
going to create this mindfulness program that teaches my audience was kids at the time. So teaches kids how to deal with their thoughts and emotions to basically just stop it, like stop that negative programming and step into their true selves. So
And
that's how it started.
and is that the genesis of the work you were doing? Were you doing projects with your kids in school?
I started it was before school, it was a morning mindfulness program, and I ran that for 10 weeks and really loved it. And there came a point where the district, I couldn't take it any further, and the district said no more. And I thought, well, this feels too good. I'm finally feeling alive since I was in LA. I'm not going to give up this time. And I thought, what does it look like to do it differently? And
Mhm,
that's when I attracted a business coach. I learned about life coaching. I didn't know what that was before then. And then I went and explored it. So I got my certifications. And then 2 years in, I resigned from my job. And that was in 2019. I took a leap of faith. I
mhm,
was 40. That was another trigger. It was like, whoa, never did I think I would make it to 40 and be by myself. And
mhm,
so I said, if I did everything I was told to do, follow the rules,
mhm.
and didn't get the husband and the kids and the white picket fence, then I'm deciding I'm going to do what Nikki wants to do and just start all over again.
Cool. I love that. And there's a bunch of things within that that I think is very interesting. Often we get catalysted by a significant time passage that makes us go, oh my God, I'm 40, or oh my God, I'm 50, or oh my God, I'm 70, or whatever it may be. But I love that you were 2 years in the transition. I think a lot of people think that they should have this epiphany and leap from their job to something else immediately, rather than taking the time to transition, to set themselves up for success, to learn what they don't know, to learn how to become an entrepreneur. It cracks me up. Entrepreneurialism is one of the very few professions in the world where people think they can just do it without any training. And it's like, oh, I'll just become a brain surgeon or an entrepreneur and I don't need any schooling for that. It's like, hmm. Um, so so I love that you took that period to transition. How was, I know we're going to get to your topic very soon, but how was the transition for you? Like, was it very, people think transition, oh, nice and seamless, and this will decline and that'll rise and so forth. Was it like that for you? Was it easy? Was it hard? How did it go?
So it has not been seamless. There's lots of ups and downs, lots of uncertainty. And I really had to learn how to live in the moment and focus on what's my next step. And if this is a problem, okay, great, I recognize it, but what's the solution? It really helped me just to train myself to focus on what can I do, what's working well,
Mhm.
just for sanity purposes, because it can be scary when you don't have that paycheck coming in and
Yes.
money is dependent on business and
Yeah.
you don't have any guarantees.
Yeah, absolutely. It can be very scary.
Yeah.
Um, and you need to really be smart about that financial transition as well. I've seen so many people not plan for long enough startup time, ramp up time, and then be destitute and have to go get a job because they can't pay their bills. They're stressed out and they're no good. They're coming from scarcity, so they can't sell and so forth. So that's awesome that you did that. And then when you made the leap into the work you were doing, I'm just curious if your market has transitioned or how you're doing what you're doing. How much has it transitioned in that initial stage?
It's it's still as far broad, like speaking broadly, entrepreneurs and business owners. That's where I started, just because I started with myself,
Yeah.
trying to be that square peg in a round hole and just, following the grain and doing what you're supposed to, but having that more out of the box thinking and just ideas and vision. And so that's where I started. And it's been the same. What's changed is now I'm speaking more to spiritually driven entrepreneurs, and then more specifically, perfectionists, people pleasers, and rule followers. More of the psychographics I've drilled down
Yeah.
into, which is still an earlier version of me. And we could
Yeah.
even use the word recovering.
Yes, exactly. Well, and that's also very smart. Many, if not all, coaches that come into work wanting to solve a problem that they had. And so really their initial demographic is who they were just prior to coming in. But then as they evolve, typically the demographic they want to serve is them either earlier in their journey or as they are now and evolving kind of people who are closer to where they are now. So it's great that you've recognized that and adjusted and tweaked as you went along. So tell us about the calm method and how did you come to this? How did you create it?
So, yes, I love to share this. I was hired to do a workshop for a jewelry company, and the topic was money mindset. And I got a phone call 2 days before the workshop was supposed to happen. And it was the woman was saying to me, it was March 2020. And she said, money mindset is no longer appropriate. Can you please just do something to help these women with their emotions? Because people are so scared. And I said, sure. And I hung up and I thought, what am I going to do? It's 2 days away, and played around with some ideas. I said, I'm going to sleep on it. I'm going to practice what I preach. I'm going to go to sleep, set the intention to wake up with an inspired idea. And when I woke up, I saw the word calm, and each letter stood for a step for how to go from that chaos in your mind to confidence and clarity so you feel empowered to make a decision and take action.
Love it.
Yes.
And that's a great tip right there. Go to bed with the intention of waking up with an inspired idea. So tell us what calm means.
Sure. So I'll go high level first. C is conscious,
Hmm.
A is aware,
Hmm.
L is lean, and M is make a new decision.
Okay.
So become conscious of how you're feeling. Sometimes we've got so many thoughts, we don't even hear them all. But if we just stop and take a breath, we can identify how we feel.
Hmm.
Stressed, I'm overwhelmed, experiencing doubt. That's the first step. And then process the emotion. So it can be something as simple as taking a few deep breaths, or we can go more, deeper. The A, the aware, is to become aware of the thoughts that you're thinking, because it's typically thoughts that are sparking those emotions.
Hmm.
So it's being like you're a lawyer and putting them on trial. Are these thoughts, are they facts, like hard facts, or are they beliefs, attitudes, interpretations? And it's getting them out of your head and onto paper. So
Hmm.
aware of the thoughts and write them down.
Hmm.
And then the L, lean, is lean into what else is possible. If those thoughts are not hard facts, then what else is possible? And this is where we get into reframing your thoughts to ones that are more aligned with the goals that you have.
Hmm.
And then the M is make a new decision and take immediate action. So now that you've processed the emotion, you're coming from a better headspace, take what's the inspired action that you have and do it immediately before you talk yourself out of it.
Yeah, the immediate action is the real key there, I think, because it's easy to get into analysis paralysis for many people, especially perfectionists and people pleasers, and
Mhm.
so that's really a big key to it. It's a really beautifully simple and powerful formula because that is the process for becoming aware of and transforming beliefs, especially is like you said, really where am I at? What is going on here? Um, and checking in. And often the thing that we're most aware of is perhaps our feelings for some people versus body or thoughts. And then what are the thoughts causing those feelings? I think that's many people still don't quite realize that it's our thoughts that generate the feelings, not the other way around. And then really kind of what is leaning into possibilities. It's like, okay, so this is the thoughts. Is it serving me or not? What else might be possible? What else is possible when I look at the alternatives? And then how do I turn that into practical action and implement that? So it's a very robust and round formula. How do you suggest people work with it if they don't have a coach that they're working with on it? What's a really practical way for them to do that at home?
Really practical way, first of all, is to grab the free guide because it lays out the CALM. It gives you questions that you can ask yourself to follow the framework. And good old fashioned pen and paper. Get out a pen and paper and go through the steps. What's interesting is, and I know you know this, it's one thing to think a thought in your head.
Mhm.
Many times when we put that thought on paper and then we read it back to ourselves, we say, well, that's not really true. You process it differently, right? Even when you say it out loud, you
Yeah.
process it differently.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes a big difference. And like you said, getting out of our head, because our head is not always a great place to be. In
That's
fact,
right.
sometimes it can be downright inhospitable.
That's
So,
right.
so tell us a little bit about, you mentioned the guide, so you might as well talk about that now. How do people get that guide and talk a little bit about it?
Sure. Well, it's available on my website. I don't know if you'll be sharing it
Yeah,
in the
the
show
link
notes.
in the chat already.
In the chat already. Yep, so they can get it there. But you could also go to my website and enter your information, meaning name and email, and then you can download it.
Okay.
And yep.
And
And
so the website is, so spell it out for people in case they are don't see the show notes.
sure, it's my full name, nikkigangemi.com. So it's NIKKIGANGEMI.com.
Okay, awesome. And then for the gift, it's /com dash method, com dash method, and or sign up and you'll get it there as well. And what does that do? How does it walk them through it? Is it just walks them through the 4 steps for an issue that they might have going on right now?
It gives them first, it gives them the layout of the CALM and it gives an example. So, like a specific example around being nervous or worried about something with the thought, the reframe, and then the new decision. And then it's digital, so you can either print it out or you can type right onto the document, and there's space for you
Hmm.
to fill in your own answers for the CALM. And then it's something that it's just repeatable. So once you learn the framework, which it's very simple, as you can hear, it's just a great framework for organizing your thoughts because we can go down rabbit holes, like we were saying, we could spin our wheels. So it's just, it helps you to get organized and focused so that you can switch tracks.
Absolutely. So, there's lots of perfectionists, and you show me a perfectionist, I'll show you a procrastinator, and vice versa. How would a perfectionist how would this apply to a perfectionist? Give us an example of someone working through what might be one of the underlying issues related to perfectionism that gets in the way of perfectionists.
Sure. I actually can speak to a previous earlier version of myself before I ever did a Facebook Live.
Hmm.
I was very afraid to put myself out there on video. So, C, conscious of how I was feeling, self doubt, nervous, afraid of what will people say, what will they think. The A, aware of the thoughts. Those were some of the thoughts. What if I make a mistake? What if I say too many times and people are going to point it out? There's a little bit of perfectionism, right? And by the way, that did happen. You got to ignore people because they always find something, right?
Yes, yes.
Um, and then and then another excuse was I need to get a new wardrobe. What if I wear something on a Monday and then I wear that shirt
Uh-huh.
again next week and somebody says something? And these were all these thoughts in my head, which caused me to procrastinate because I
Hmm.
was giving myself excuses. Oh, I'll start next week or I'll start next month.
Hmm.
The L, the lean into what is possible, after realizing those were not facts, those were just my attitudes, beliefs, worries, projections. And also it's what am I making this mean about me? And this is in the guide too, because sometimes something is maybe a fact, right?
Hmm.
So we have to say, well, what am I making this mean about me? Like it could be a fact that you're not bringing in enough clients every month. That
Right,
could be like, you know what, Nikki, that's a fact. Okay,
right.
what am I making that mean about me? And that's where you can dig and get to the belief, well, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. It's the belief that you want to reframe in step three. So going back to the example of the perfectionism and doing videos, the lean into what else is possible is, I decided to share a story, a personal story from high school. It's like, let me start talking about just sharing a story. It's something that people like to hear.
Hmm.
Just taking what's that one step that I could take. And I could always do a video and I could delete it. That
Yeah,
was comforting, right? It doesn't have to be permanent.
that's right.
And then M, make a new decision is what if I just put myself out there? What if there's somebody out there that needs to hear this story that I want to share? And
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna brighten their day. And
Mm-hmm.
just those thoughts like that, I started to feel motivated. And then I did it because if I waited, I would have talked myself out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and let's talk about, because you mentioned entrepreneurs, let's talk a little bit about attracting new and prospective clients with greater ease using this approach. How does this help them do that?
Again, this helps. So this is, and I'm glad you brought this up because I do want to say this, that this is not a one and done. This is not something that, oh, I did the calm method and I'm still making excuses. I'm not putting myself out there. Or I'm not attracting more clients. It's something that you want to habitualize. So you just learn how to, I notice how I'm feeling and where my mind is going, and that's not in the direction. So it's something, it's repetition is key.
Hmm.
That's one thing. I also go a little deeper with the calm method and I add in other tools like tapping, for example,
Mm.
EFT, emotional freedom technique. And
Yes.
I'll use what you write out in step two is the
Mhm.
negative thoughts. That becomes the negative tapping script. And then step three becomes your positive tapping script.
Mm.
And that really helps to release and replace. So, basic level is just the way I explained the calm method. And then you could incorporate other tools and modalities to
Mm.
make it even stronger,
Yeah.
get faster results.
Cool. And I'm assuming that part of the attracting clients with greater ease is that when we're more present to ourselves, when we're calmer, literally, and when we are more close to ourselves and being at the source of our thoughts, then we can be more productive in terms of thinking about the value we provide. We get out of our own way, basically, because mostly the reason we don't have clients and prospects is because we get in our own way.
Right. Yeah. So as far as attracting clients, this also changes your energy because now you're spending less time in that worry, doubt, overwhelm,
Yeah.
right? And you change your vibration. So now you could attract something that
Yeah.
matches it.
Yeah, exactly. All right. What's one piece of advice you'd like to leave everyone with, Nikki? What's something that it could be a starting point or just a reminder that you want to leave them with?
I want to remind people to be you.
Mm,
Yeah, to just like drop below all of the noise and just kind of connect with yourself and remember who you are, which is this amazing being that came onto this planet for a reason, and you're here to live your purpose. So show up, shine your light, do it.
mm. Beautiful. Thank you. And of course, you can find Nikki at her website and at nikkigangemi.com. And by all means, please reach out if you are struggling with how to get your mind working so your business can work. Then it could be that having the support of a coach who can really support you in learning that structure, like you said, and having it become a habit is the way to overcome the stinking thinking that is habitual as well. So get support is the short version of that. Thank you so much for being here, Nikki. I appreciate you. And for those of you who would like even more support, please do join the Purpose and Profit Sisterhood Facebook community. We would love to have you shout out yourself on What You Got Wednesdays. Let us know how you can serve us and ask questions, provide resources, get involved. It really does take a village to raise up a business. And so it's important for us to have the kind of support that we need. So the Purpose and Profit Sisterhood Facebook group, we'd love to have you there if you're a woman who's committed to growing and mastering both the inner and outer game of business. Thanks for being here, Nikki. Have a great day, everybody. Bye for now.
Thanks, Jeanette.